Do not adjust your clocks. In transit is a little bit early today. Oh my goodness, the in-transit train arriving ahead of schedule. We're just making sure we have enough time for our interview with Pierre Poilievre. Of course, the leader of the Conservatives will be on this show at 10:45. We're just about 20 minutes away, but in the lead up to that, we want to make sure we have lots of time. Rick Leckner is with us right now for today's In Transit, and we've got a story to tell you about the Metropolitan Expressway. Now, it's going to close this weekend for repairs, but the story there is something very interesting. Rick, welcome back to the show.
Good morning. Thank you again.
And I don't know if you heard me talk about this earlier in the week. We did this as a Big Five subject. And I look at this story, and I can look at it two ways. So this is the Metropolitan Expressway. It was paved in 2021, done shoddily, wrong asphalt used. 2022, same mistake. It's being redone for the third time. Two ways of looking at it. Here we go again. Quebec is the worst roads. We just suck at everything. Or the other side, oh my goodness, things are changing. Transport Quebec holding this contractor accountable. It is being done a third time, so it gets done right. How do you view this story?
Really interesting. First of all, I'm surprised that Transport Quebec was so transparent. This does not happen very often. On the one hand, they have thrown Roxborough excavation under the bus or under the bulldozer or whatever. On the other hand, they're defending them. And also, they continue to give them mega millions of dollars of work. If you travel the Laurentian Road, as I do regularly, there's a massive project underway between Blainville and Mirabel, all being done by Roxborough Excavation. I'm telling you, this is like big bucks, okay? So give them, I guess they're getting the benefit of the doubt, but this is, let alone the cost, which Roxborough is apparently incurring, but what about the cost to us in terms of lost time, productivity, and, you know, everything that goes along with all these disruptions? Because this was done partly in May of this year, and now, again, the section of the Metropolitan westbound between the Laurentian Road merge and Cavendish will be closed as of midnight tonight until 5 a.m. on Monday. And added to the mix, Elias, is the fact that there is now the Royal Mount complex open with lots and lots of people heading in that direction. So it's going to be an interesting weekend, particularly with this great weather.
So how do you view the throwing under the bus, as you put it, bulldozer, name and shame of Roxborough Excavation, right? And the fact it's being done a third time. I had some listeners say to me, well, why wasn't it caught when they're using the wrong mix? Can't they know right away that they're using the wrong mix? Do you have any insight into that?
That's an excellent question. I have long opined that maybe they don't have, as we know that crap has been done from time to time, more often perhaps than we want to know. And we just keep our fingers crossed that now with the other tour it's being done properly. So yes, they're at it for the third time, but you know, they're supposed to have inspectors on site to check these things. And again, it's taking putting an added burden on the population, on us, to be able to cope with the situation.
Is the quality of the work, Rick, actually improving in Quebec? If you look at the major projects, we had the Turcotte happen in the last 10, 15 years. We had the new Champlain Bridge. You mentioned the things that are going on up north. In your opinion, is the actual quality of the work, not configurations, design and configuration, I still have issues, but the quality of the roads, is it improving?
That's the question. I think only an engineer can answer that, but you just put your finger on the thing, because it's the design and the configuration. And to come back to Highway 20, which they redid to the Turcotte Yard, it is worse than ever. You know, you've got 5 lanes merging into 2. They spend tens and tens of millions of dollars on that thing, and it's like almost 12-hour gridlock every day, which leads to one other thing, which I want to mention quickly because I know the clock is running out. People, because of all this, and I've mentioned this before, Elias, are not driving well. We're driving erratically. We're driving with impatience, with frustrations, and stats from SPVM, which came out this week, clearly underlines that, because the cases of dangerous driving doubled from last year to this year. So people are a bit wacko on the roads, and we all have a role to play in this. So we got to, as difficult as it is to drive around, we really got to take it easy, because unfortunately deaths are up, and there's just so much going on the roads in terms of construction and detours and inconvenience, but people are taking it out in the way they drive, and obviously that's not a good thing.
So Rick, just to wrap us up here, on the quality of the work, and third time's the charm for the Metropolitan. Yeah, hopefully. Just on to that notion of the actual quality. I've heard simple stuff like our asphalt is too thin. You compare it to what they use in Vermont, New York, Ontario. They're just using better quality materials, thicker layers. Is that still the case?
Well, I'll say hopefully because I don't have the insight into that. But the evidence is there clearly that it was not done well, whether it was the first time or the second time. Again, I'll use the Laurentian Otter as a poster child for terrible work, because how can you have a rut in a concrete highway, which is a major route into the Laurentians from Montreal, there and back, and the roadway, they're redoing parts of it now, but it's been that way. You can literally lose your car in the ruts created by heavy truck traffic. That should never have happened.
We're going to leave it there, Rick. Thanks so much for the early edition of In Transit today. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Rick Leckner is CJ 8800's Wall of Fame traffic reporter. When we return, we'll have a bit of a pregame here ahead of our interview with Pierre Poilievre. We'll discuss what's at stake for him and this by-election that's coming up. Stay tuned for that.